Stoicism is a philosophy that originated in ancient Greece and has endured through the centuries, providing valuable tools for personal and emotional development. Essentially, Stoicism is based on the idea that true happiness and inner peace come from virtue and self-control rather than from seeking external pleasures or the approval of others. Stoic figures like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius teach us that while we cannot control external events, we can control our reaction to them. One of the key principles of Stoicism is the distinction between what we can and cannot control. In life, we face many situations beyond our will, the opinions of others, external circumstances, and unexpected events. However, Stoic philosophy invites us to focus on our actions, thoughts, and attitudes. This approach empowers us, as it reminds us that, at the end of the day, our peace of mind and well-being depend on how we respond to what happens around us. But before we begin, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you're ready to become the best version of yourself. When relating this to the topic of habits that weaken us, it's important to recognize that many of these habits stem from our inability to accept reality as it is. For example, procrastination can be a mechanism of avoidance, a way to escape responsibilities that ultimately affect our self-esteem and ability to act. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we learn to accept reality, confront our fears, and make decisions aligned with our values. This is particularly relevant in a world that often bombards us with contradictory messages about success, happiness, and acceptance. Instead of seeking external validation or constantly comparing ourselves to others, Stoicism teaches us to look inward and find strength in our own authenticity. Self-esteem should not depend on others' opinions but on how we view ourselves and on our actions aligned with our principles. Additionally, Stoicism promotes the practice of self-reflection. Taking time to reflect on our actions, emotions, and thoughts is crucial in identifying the habits that weaken us. Self-reflection helps us understand which behavior patterns are present in our lives and which we need to eliminate to live more fully. This process is fundamental to cultivating a Stoic mindset and personal growth. The Stoic mindset also encourages resilience. We will face challenges and setbacks throughout our lives, but it is our reaction to those challenges that truly defines our experience. Learning to see obstacles as opportunities to grow and learn allows us to overcome difficulties and strengthen ourselves. In this way, instead of letting weakening habits affect us, we can become agents of change in our own lives. Lastly, when addressing the topic of habits that weaken us, it is vital to remember that Stoicism is not just an abstract theory, it is a daily practice. Integrating these principles into our daily lives will help us create a space where we can thrive, moving away from what harms us and toward a more authentic and meaningful existence. The key lies in making conscious decisions aligned with our values, and this is precisely what we will explore next as we break down each of the habits we need to eliminate from our lives. With this context in mind, let's move on to the first habit that may be weakening us and that we must eliminate to live a more fulfilling life aligned with Stoic principles. Habit 1: Procrastination. The first habit we must eliminate is procrastination. This behavior affects all of us at some point and may seem harmless, but in reality, it is a significant drain on our self-esteem and productivity. Procrastination is the tendency to postpone tasks or decisions, often in favor of less important or more enjoyable activities. As Seneca said, "Do not delay until tomorrow what you can do today." This quote resonates deeply in Stoic philosophy, which advocates for action and responsibility. Procrastination is often driven by fear of failure, criticism, or even success. Instead of confronting these fears, we choose to distract ourselves and avoid the tasks that truly matter. This behavior not only delays our progress but also fuels a sense of guilt and anxiety. As we accumulate unfinished tasks, the pressure builds, often leading to a spiral of inaction and self-criticism. Adopting a Stoic mindset helps us confront procrastination effectively. First, it is crucial to accept that perfection is not necessary. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment to begin, we can commit to taking one small step forward, no matter how small. This allows us to break the inertia and start moving in the right direction. Additionally, by focusing on what we can control, we can make conscious decisions about how to manage our time and priorities. Making a to-do list or setting clear goals will help us visualize what we need to do and tackle each task in an orderly fashion. The key is to remember that each task is an opportunity to practice virtue and self-discipline. Another useful Stoic technique to combat procrastination is negative visualization. This practice involves imagining the consequences of not acting, which can be a powerful motivator to take action. Ask yourself, what will happen if I keep postponing this task? This reflection can help us appreciate the urgency of acting and overcome the impulse to procrastinate. Finally, it is essential to be compassionate with ourselves. While we should strive to improve, we must also acknowledge that everyone faces moments of weakness. Instead of punishing ourselves, we can learn from our mistakes and move forward with a new approach. By eliminating procrastination, we will not only improve our productivity but also strengthen our confidence and self-esteem. Habit 2: Comparison with others. The second habit we need to eliminate is the constant comparison with others. We live in a world where social media bombards us with images of seemingly perfect lives, and it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we will never be enough. However, this mindset is destructive and only fuels insecurity and dissatisfaction. Stoic philosophy teaches us that each person is unique, with their own path and struggles. Marcus Aurelius, one of the main Stoic thinkers, reminds us to focus on our own journey and virtues. Comparison is not only unfair, but it also distracts us from what truly matters, our personal growth and goals. When we stop comparing ourselves to others, we begin to appreciate our own strengths and achievements. Instead of viewing others' success as a threat, we can see it as a source of inspiration. Life is not a competition, but a journey where each of us has something unique to offer. To combat comparison, a useful strategy is to practice gratitude. By focusing on what we have and what we've accomplished, we cultivate a more positive and healthy mindset. Keeping a gratitude journal can help us remember the blessings in our lives, which in turn allows us to be happier with our own journey. Moreover, by setting personal goals based on our own values and desires, we distance ourselves from the need to measure success by others' standards. This empowers us to live authentically, aligned with what we truly want. By eliminating the habit of comparison, we begin to build a more fulfilling life where our self-esteem and happiness depend on our own growth, not on how others perceive us. Habit 3: Fear of failure. The third habit we need to banish is the fear of failure. This fear can be paralyzing and often prevents us from making decisions and taking risks in life. Stoic philosophy teaches us that failure is a natural part of the process of learning and growth. As Epictetus said, it's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. The fear of failure leads us to avoid challenging situations, which in turn limits our opportunities for growth. We convince ourselves that it's better not to try anything than to risk failing. However, this mindset only perpetuates inaction and dissatisfaction. Stoicism invites us to reframe our relationship with failure. Instead of seeing it as an end, we can view it as a valuable lesson. Every mistake and setback provides us with an opportunity to learn and improve. By adopting this perspective, we begin to shed the weight of fear and see failure as a step on the path to success. A useful practice to overcome fear of failure is positive visualization. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, imagine what could go right. Visualizing success can motivate us to act and face our fears. Additionally, it's important to remember that even the greatest leaders and thinkers have faced failures on their path to success. What sets them apart is their ability to rise and continue moving forward. We must also practice self-compassion. We are all human, and we make mistakes. By being kind to ourselves during difficult times, we can learn from our experiences without falling into destructive self-criticism. True failure doesn't lie in falling, but in not getting back up afterward. By eliminating the fear of failure, we open the door to new opportunities and experiences. We learn to live with courage and embrace every moment as an opportunity to grow and develop. Habit 4: Need for approval. The fourth habit we must eliminate is the need for approval from others. This dependency can be debilitating and pulls us away from our true essence. Often, we seek external validation to feel valuable or accepted, which can lead us to compromise our own values and desires. Stoicism teaches us that our worth should not depend on others' opinions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Reflections, emphasizes the importance of living according to our own nature and principles. By focusing on self-evaluation, we begin to free ourselves from the pressure to please others. The need for approval can manifest in many ways, from changing our opinion to fit in, to avoiding decisions that may displease others. However, by living this way, we sacrifice our authenticity and happiness. To overcome this dependency, it's essential to cultivate strong self-esteem. This involves knowing ourselves, recognizing our virtues, and accepting our imperfections. By strengthening our self-esteem, we can act from a place of security and confidence, instead of constantly seeking external validation. Another strategy is to practice acceptance. Recognizing that not everyone will agree with us or approve of our decisions frees us from the burden of needing approval. This gives us the freedom to be ourselves, without fear of others' judgment. Additionally, surrounding ourselves with people who support and value us for who we are fosters a positive environment that celebrates our authenticity. These meaningful connections remind us that our worth is not tied to others' opinions. By eliminating the need for approval, we begin to live more authentically and fully. We learn to be our own best judges and make decisions aligned with our true aspirations. Habit 5: Negativity and complaining. The fifth habit we must eliminate is negativity and the tendency to complain. In a world where we are often surrounded by criticism and complaints, it's easy to fall into this pattern. However, negativity not only affects our mood, but it can also sabotage our relationships and inner peace. Stoicism teaches us to adopt a more positive and proactive perspective. Instead of complaining about circumstances, we can focus on what we can do to improve the situation. Epictetus said, "Don't seek for things to happen the way you wish for things to happen as they do, and all will go well." This quote invites us to accept reality as it is, rather than resisting it. Negativity and complaints often stem from a victim mentality. By blaming external circumstances for our difficulties, we give away our personal power. Instead, by adopting a Stoic mindset, we begin to see difficulties as opportunities to grow and learn. Every challenge can teach us something valuable if we are willing to see it that way. One way to combat negativity is by practicing gratitude. Focusing on what we have and the blessings in our lives can transform our perspective. Keeping a gratitude journal or dedicating a few minutes each day to reflecting on the positive can be transformative. It's also helpful to surround ourselves with people who foster a positive mindset. The energy and attitudes of those around us can influence our own way of thinking. By surrounding ourselves with people who see the positive side of things, we can learn to do the same. Finally, it's essential to remember that change starts within us. By eliminating negativity and complaints, we create space for positivity and proactivity in our lives. This allows us to live with more purpose and joy, even in the midst of difficulties. Habit 6. Lack of self-care. The sixth habit we must eliminate is the lack of self-care. In a world that often pushes us to be productive and efficient, it's easy to neglect our own needs. However, self-care is essential for our mental and emotional health. Stoicism teaches us that taking care of ourselves is an act of responsibility. Just as a warrior must care for his sword to be effective in battle, we must care for our mind and body to be effective in life. Marcus Aurelius stated, "The quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." This highlights the importance of nurturing our mind and caring for our well-being. The lack of self-care can manifest in many ways: not getting enough rest, not eating properly, or not dedicating time to activities we enjoy. This neglect can lead to a cycle of burnout and frustration, which in turn can affect our productivity and relationships. To combat this habit, it's crucial to set boundaries and prioritize our needs. This can involve dedicating time to activities that nourish us, such as exercising, meditating, or simply resting. By recognizing that our well-being is fundamental to our success and happiness, we can adopt a proactive mindset towards self-care. Another useful strategy is intentional planning. By scheduling moments of self-care in our daily routine, we ensure that our needs are met. This not only helps us feel better, but also improves our ability to face challenges and maintain a positive mindset. Finally, practicing self-compassion is essential. By being kind to ourselves and recognizing that we all need time to recharge, we can free ourselves from the guilt that often comes with taking time for ourselves. By eliminating the lack of self-care, we strengthen our resilience and our ability to face life with energy and clarity. This allows us to live more fully and authentically, aligned with our values. Habit 7. Holding on to the past. The seventh and final habit we must eliminate is holding on to the past. Often, we get stuck in memories and past experiences, which prevents us from living in the present. Stoicism teaches us that the past cannot be changed, and our true freedom lies in how we choose to respond to what has happened. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote emphasizes the importance of our perception and how it can shape our reality. By holding on to old grudges or regrets, we limit ourselves and our possibilities for growth. Holding on to the past often leads to negative emotions such as sadness, resentment, or anxiety. These emotions can affect our mental health and quality of life. Instead of getting stuck in what we cannot change, Stoicism invites us to accept the past and learn from it. To let go of the past, it's helpful to practice forgiveness, both toward ourselves and others. Forgiving ourselves for past mistakes and decisions frees us from the weight of guilt and allows us to move forward. It's also important to recognize that everyone makes mistakes, and those mistakes do not define our worth as individuals. Additionally, meditation and mindfulness are effective tools for living in the present. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to focus our attention on the here and now, freeing ourselves from the distractions of the past. This not only improves our mental health but also helps us appreciate the beauty and opportunity of each moment. Finally, by adopting a growth mindset, we can view the past as a series of lessons and experiences that have shaped us, but do not define us. This allows us to live more freely and authentically, focused on the present and the possibilities the future holds. Now that we've explored these 7 weakening habits and how to eliminate them, it's important to remember that Stoicism is not just a philosophy, but a practical guide for living more authentically and fully. By integrating these principles into our daily lives, we can begin to see significant changes in our self-esteem, relationships, and ability to face life's challenges. The key is to take action and be mindful of how our habits impact our lives. By living in accordance with Stoic principles, we can free ourselves from what holds us back and embrace a more meaningful and enriching existence. Leave us a comment sharing your thoughts. By doing so, you help motivate more people to become the best version of themselves. Give me a like, and don't forget that subscribing is free. See you in the next episode.